Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nithya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 858, alongside with one of our co-hosts, Kia Lyons, for the show. And we're joined by a really special guest. His name is Chris Johnson. He's an NBA player, and he played overseas too. And he's the co-founder, CEO of B Flyer. So we're really looking forward to this interview. First of all, Chris, thank you for joining the show today. And how are you and your family doing?
First off, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be a part of this show. But me and my family is good. We're during this tough time. We're just staying focused, staying safe, and doing the things we can do to in our control.
Nice. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So I like Kia's.
Yeah. So Chris, and looking at your whole basketball history, it's incredible. You've had so many opportunities to experience different teams. And I saw that you started with the Sixers, and then you signed with the Clippers. You've had so many different opportunities. Tell us how that experience has been like for you.
It's definitely been a journey. Everybody's journey, everybody's path is different. So throughout that journey, I was able to learn a lot from every organization, every team, every player, and just kind of put it into my my own little my own brain. So it wasn't easy. I think when we become basketball players, everybody thinks that it's going to be easy. They think that it was unexpected. So for me, it was just kind of finding what I knew and just kind of taking it from there and just learning from every team and organization. But it definitely wasn't easy.
Yeah, but it sounds like such an opportunity also to meet so many new people and have experiences.
Yeah, I definitely, been around Hall of Famers, All-Stars and things like that, just seeing how they take care of their body, their approach to the game, the coaching staff, just a lot of things, how their eating habits and things like that. And, those are things, as I'm, going to my 10th year, I'm still thinking about and trying to prolong my career.
Right. That high performance is key. That's amazing. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so before we go any further, I just want to give a big congrats to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the championship. Obviously, that's your former team. You played for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Congrats on them. What a great big thing for the city and big thing for the fans. So I'm really proud of them. So I want to ask you, growing up in Orlando, Florida, the funny thing, I'm in Orlando right now actually for vacation, and so for you growing up in Orlando,
really?
Yeah. So for you growing up in Orlando, what was it like as a kid growing up, and when did you start realizing that you wanted to play basketball, and did you have any like big time role models in your life?
So for me, just growing up in Orlando, well, everybody thinks, Orlando is like Mickey, Disney World and things like that, but it's different. I always grew up with my cousins. We stayed together. So that's kind of what I really knew. We grew up around women. We didn't have any father figures, so we kind of relied on our mothers and our aunts in that figure. As far as basketball, it was something young. My great grandmother, she told me when I was at a young age that Reggie Miller was my twin brother, and I believed it for like 8 or 9 years. So that kind of led me on, and also just watching Michael Jordan. After the Bulls, me and my cousin would go out in front of my grandma's yard and pretend he was Michael, I was Pippen, or vice versa. And that's kind of how I found that love for it.
That's fantastic. And how does that round you today?
It just makes you look back on it. Like, it's amazing how my great grandmother said that Reggie Miller was my twin brother, and how from then to now I still just think about that. Like, wow, it's amazing to where those little words she said to me, lead me this far in life. And when I met Reggie, I actually told him that just because that was the reason why I started basketball. So when I met him, a game we played OKC, I was with the Memphis Grizzlies. I told him that story, and I just told him you inspired me growing up.
Oh,
that's amazing. What did he say?
No, he just started laughing and said, that's a cool story. Because everybody gets inspired by so many things. So he started laughing and said that's a cool story. And he's glad that I was able to help him help me, play basketball.
Yeah, that's really
Awesome.
awesome to have like a guy like Reggie Miller to be on your side and people calling you the brother of Reggie Miller, and that's amazing. But
no. Oh, sorry. So
oh, no.
Nobody called me that. It was just my great grandmother.
Oh, your
I was
His
telling
great
people
grandmother
that.
inspired him, but then you got the
Yeah.
chance to play with him and meet him. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to get to your recruitment process, and this is my favorite time of the year when high school kids, high school players get to choose wherever they want to go for college. And for you, taking it back to your process, obviously you chose Dayton University. What a great college now. So how many offers did you get, and then what made you choose Dayton?
So honestly, I only had 2 offers, Akron and Dayton. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know much about the recruiting process, honestly. My high school coach, Drew Williams, he took me on a few visits to Dayton, and that was it. I mean, I was supposed to. That was it. I kind of randomly just called the coach from Brian Greger, who was coach at the time.
Yeah.
I just said, Coach, I'm ready to commit, and that was that. I didn't really, talk to my mom about it or nothing. I just kind of, just freelance and just say, hey, I want to go to Dayton. So that's kind of really how it went. Luckily, it turned out great for me, but yeah, that's really how it went. I didn't really know much about the recruiting process, honestly.
Oh, wow.
What was that like when you got there? A different environment for you, and especially you're talking about being a home life, being surrounded by strong women. So what was that like when you showed up on your own?
It was a culture shock. It was really a culture shock. It was a lot different, from how I grew up. I had to, speak to people differently, walk a different way, just kind of so for that time I want to be judged. So like just for me, it was just, trying to adapt to the environment, learn as much as I could, really focusing on school because high school, I didn't really focus on school as I should have. But, I got to Dayton. It was all about, academics and working hard and things like that. So it was definitely tough. But, I think after my sophomore year, I kind of understood what was going on throughout the university and kind of, picked it up and just, adapted to the environment.
Yeah. And was it when so scholastically, how much of your time was spent studying and on classes versus training, like physicality versus your mentality being put to the test?
Oh, it was something every day, like literally something every day. We had something every hour. It was hard, being a student athlete, traveling and things like that. But for me, like I said, I didn't really focus as much as I should have in high school. So those first 2 years, I should say, I was in study hall, doing a lot of studying, working on how to write papers, grammar, things like that. So it was just those little things that I didn't focus on in high school or even when I was younger that, I learned in college.
Right. Well, that's great advice for the youth to hear and share that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to start when you're young. I thought just because I was a basketball player and I was going into college that, that would save me. But no, it's much more to it. It's much more education and things like that. So once I locked in and focused, everything was good.
Awesome.
So I want to get to your college career at Dayton because you had an interesting one. Obviously, being an athlete and everybody else is all about is all about growth and improving every day. For you, like for example, freshman year you had 6.3 points per game, and then sophomore year you improved to 11 points a game. Junior year you improved a lot, and then senior you were the team's co-MVP and you led the Flyers to 2013 record and back to the NIT championship. So a trip to the NIT, sorry, and what was that like? Experience like improving every year and then improving on your growth. Can you hear me?
I heard improving. That's the last thing I heard. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I asked. So in college, you improved freshman year, you had a 6.3 points per game. Sophomore year, 11 points per game, and then junior, senior, you improved a lot. So take me through the process. What was that? What was the mindset going through each year and improving?
Freshman year, freshman was like just a year where I was kind of getting my feet wet, understanding, the college basketball and things like that. I remember coach always get on me about my defense and because it happened so fast. So I think, I took that next year into like a consideration of working hard. I'm always been a hard worker. So just putting what I know to, going in the gym, doing tour days, working hard, watching film and things like that kind of helped me. And also, my coaches, they gave me confidence and instilled confidence to myself. So it was just those little things that helped me in just being comfortable and growing.
And just a follow-up to that. Take me to the NIT experience. What was that like playing in an NIT tournament?
So I think that was my best year in college, my sophomore year, and we had talent, and I think we should have went to the NCAA in my opinion. I think some ex-teammates would say the same thing, but that experience was great. That was my first time in New York. Got to play against North Carolina, Ole Miss. That whole experience, and then being able to win the MVP, the most outstanding player, I should say, during that tournament was, something I was proud of myself. And again, honestly, this is something I look back on now that Reggie Miller was a most outstanding player in that tournament as well. So those little things mean so much to me now, from back what my grandma said and things like that. So it was a great experience. We had a great time. We won a championship, but those things I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Wow.
That's beautiful, share. And how was it when you got called up to play professionally?
It was a blessing. When you're a kid, you dream about it, but when you actually really in that moment, it's unreal. And a lot of people always ask me about it. Said, it's kind of self-explanatory. You have to be in that moment, but it was definitely a blessing. Being able, like I said, to be around so many all-stars and being able to experience so many things and wear that NBA jersey with your name on the back of it and things like that is something you can't explain.
Yeah. Awesome. So obviously, obviously you were undrafted, and how tough is it not getting drafted and waiting for your name to be called? But unfortunately, you didn't get drafted. But the Sixers gave you the first opportunity to start in the summer league. So what was it like? How tough was it not getting drafted, but at the same time, the Sixers gave you the opportunity?
It was tough. I honestly thought I was going to get drafted, but like I said, you hear so many other different stories about people in their path. My agent at the time did a good job of helping me and explaining to me, everybody's journey is different. And I've been through that journey, before that. So it was just another thing I had to get through. So, Sixers gave me an opportunity. It was something I was getting, like anything I'm starting with, I have to, get a feel for it and get used to. So I really didn't know much about it, what was going on, but I took the opportunity and I learned from it and just kept getting better every year.
That willingness to stay open and to have our grace and to stand in ourselves and represent ourselves no matter what is a beautiful thing. And talk about the importance of that regarding, you started with the Sixers, then you got signed by the Clippers, and then a couple years later in 2014 you came back to Philadelphia. So talk about the importance of that, staying open and staying connected, because we never know where we'll end up.
Well, yeah, I will say this: you got to make a good impression. You never know who's watching you. Those little things, as far as how you walk on the bench, how you walk into the locker room, and those little things. So they always take note. That opportunity that you might miss that one time, it may open up. Like you said, a few years later. So never mistaking that. So always just make sure you're professional, and just for me, just stay the course. Having faith in myself. I know doing the right things will always lead to something good. So just believing in myself. Trusting God, and I know that hard work will pay off.
That's so true, and trusting that process. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So also you got to play with Boston and the Bucks, but I want to get to your Boston career because this is the most storied franchise in my opinion in the NBA, and I love the TD Garden. I love their history. What was it like playing in that system and playing in the TD Garden in front of those fans? You got to play with great players like Keith Bogan. You had Jordan Crawford. You had Brandon Bass. You had Jared Bayless. You go on down the list. What was that like for you?
It was good. You know, like you said, that franchise is special. You know, you see all those banners, you see all the historic pictures and trophies in the hallway and things of that nature. But it's a great experience. You know, Brad Stevens was the coach. You know, they have history. Great guys. You know, even the fan base. The fan base was amazing. You know, even that year, it was kind of like a rebuilding year. You know, they still sold the arena out. They still came out and supported us, told us to be patient and things like that. But it was amazing. I think that was one of my best, you know, careers I had in the NBA. But I loved it there.
What was it like playing overseas when you went to France and Israel? What was that like?
Culture shock as well.
Yeah,
it happens.
that's what you said.
Yeah, it happened so fast, honestly. So I was in Houston with the training camp, and then a week later, I decided to go to France. So it's like all this stuff I had to get, you know, prepared for, like, you know, even like the little plug sockets, just little things I had to do. And then when I got there, nobody spoke English. It was rainy, cold, and things like that. So the food was different. So I was depressed for like my first 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and then, you know, I kind of accepted, you know, what I was, you know, going through, kind of embraced the culture, opened my eyes a little bit, you know, broader than, you know, being back in America. And, you know, it was good. I kind of found myself. But
yes,
it's
absolutely.
definitely tough.
That's incredible. I mean, no translator. That means your total focus there is your physicality, your mentality, all about you, because there's no translator. That's shocking that they didn't have a translator there on the scene to.
Yeah, they did, but, you know, just for me, I kind of want to, you know, sometimes I'm reliable on myself. I want to kind of learn and do things on my own. But they they had a translator if I needed it, but
right.
Just it was just still tough, and, you know.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah,
was the food good though?
No, my first meal, I actually like fish and fries. So I'm thinking like I'm gonna get salmon.
Yeah.
They legit brought me a big, like, a plate of fish with his eyeballs and stuff still in it.
Oh,
I said, yeah. And I looked at it and I kind of like put it in my phone, like the translator. I was like, I want, you know, such and such, not this. Yeah. And they apologized because they knew it was my first time there. So it was like, what am I getting myself into? Like, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of overseas, we had a lot of overseas players on the show. Like Julian Wright was on recently. And speaking of overseas, how long did it take you to adjust for you system wise? Because I feel like overseas game is a little bit faster than the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's much more physical too. Yeah, and, you know, they have different rules. So for me, honestly, it took me about like 7 months. My first, and mind you, you know, I think, like I said, I was kind of depressed. So I think I was kind of like all over the place. Yeah. But yeah, the rules are different. The style of play is different. So it took me about 6-7 months, and then once I adapted to it, you know, I kind of took off from there.
That's got to be such a growth process for you too, to have that adaptability is strengthening for who you are. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was. You know, kind of, Coach mentioned my first year. He said, honestly, you kind of adapted to the game so quickly. I didn't think he was going to adapt because the game was so different, but I adapted it.
I mean, it's there's a lot of self-sacrifice. We were talking about this week about the importance of self-sacrifice. Yeah. So when you make room for big blessings, you also have a lot to sacrifice. And it sounds like you've made a lot of sacrifices, but you've had an incredible journey.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not easy, you know, but you get through it. You kind of look back on it and kind of realize, you know, it's a bigger picture than what you're looking at right now.
So when you look at the Olympics, what do you think of that when you see that today, or when you see like the basketball Olympics? How do you feel about that? When you see all
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. You know, it was supposed to be, I think last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we're starting to get it back. So I'm excited for this, to see you know, our country go out there and represent, you know, USA. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing all the sports. You know, that's the only time I really watch all the sports. I only watch basketball and But during the Olympics, I watch all the sports. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward, seeing what happened.
Yeah, me too.
I can't wait either. I'm really excited for that. But I want to ask you though, going to your Bucks career. Now I'm going to say the NBA champion Bucks, but what was it like?
Yeah, you didn't tell us. He didn't tell us how. What about the Bucks? Seeing the Bucks win.
But what was it like though playing for that team? And obviously Jason Kidd was your head coach at that time, and but you got to play. Obviously, you played with Greek Freak Giannis. He was still developing at the time, growing as a player. You played with Kenyon Martin, a veteran power forward, and you had Jared Bayless again on your team. So what was it like playing in Milwaukee and in front of those? I feel like this is the toughest stadium to play in by far for a visiting team.
It was good. First of all, I played with Jared Bayless like three teams, so it was kind of crazy seeing him. But it was good, especially like you said, mentioned Giannis. His growth from 5 or 6 years ago to now is amazing, and his maturity and things like that. So I think it was only a matter of time. Chris Middleton as well. I played with him. Just seeing his growth and how far how far he came. Being an All-Star and getting a chance to play in the Olympics, and now being a championship. So I'm happy for those guys. You see, I saw 5 years ago to now. How much work they put in. The maturity and things like that. So it's a good thing for them, for the city, and for the team organization.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Take us through a day, like your key to a great day. What does your day look like?
Off season or during the year?
Off season and during the year.
Off season, I got my family, so I get up at 5:30, 4:45, go run the mountains, and then go to the gym 6:30 to 8, and then go lift from 8:30 to 9:15, and then go back to the gym at 3 o'clock. And mind you, during that time.
Uh-oh. Did it cut out?
Oh.
Oh, Christopher, there you are.
I think you cut. Yeah, you got cut off.
So you went to the gym and then you went back to the gym. So you worked out in the morning, then you went back to the gym at 3 o'clock, and that's where we left off.
Yeah, but during that time, I try to sleep. I have my daughter cook her breakfast, do schoolwork, and just watch movies. Try to rest as much as I can, but just doing little things. But during the season, it's much more much more flexible time. Israel, it's only one practice, so I'll get up, read, write in my journal, eat some breakfast, go to practice, come home, and kind of just relax, do some things for my brand or real estate and things like that. Just kind of educating myself, because that's the time I have more time to do things. So just trying to educate myself and things like that.
Nice.
So this is a two-part question. So obviously, what are you most looking forward to? Obviously, you're still working out, playing, and what are you most looking forward to whenever you get your next opportunity? What have you been working on as a player to get better? And do we see an NBA return for you, or is it overseas again?
That's in God's hands. I can't. I work hard to do what I'm capable of doing. But that's in God's control, my agent's control, and I don't stress about it. I don't worry about it. I think my first year I wanted to get back. My second year, being overseas, but now it's just about playing basketball, staying healthy, and playing as long as I can. So that the NBA return is that's in God's hand. I would like to, but just no pressure. And then for me, just working on more mobility in my hips, a little bit of ball handling, being able to handle the ball a little bit, take pressure off the guards, and just keep being a leader, just keep being focused, and trying to help win championships.
Yeah, we would love to have you in New York. Come to the Knicks.
Hey, tell them I'll be there. Tell them sign me up.
Yeah,
come back to the Sixers. Actually, yeah. I do. Yes, I like the Sixers. I like the Nets. Yeah. I lived in New York too. Tell us about your brand.
Mm-hmm.
So my brand is We Flyer, Be Flyer. Dayton Flyers. I went to Dayton. So just We Be is like, if I can do it, you can do it. Just flying above, above the clouds. I think some people get stuck, where they're at, but not realizing, it's much more in life than where your position you at. For me, I was always small minded, and when I was able to expand and go outside, my city, I was able to do more things. So just kind of want to be able to motivate people. I want to be, motivational speaker / podcast, and just, get my story out there first to, let them know, things I was going through. Because everybody look at me, perfect, but I'm not perfect. I go through things, I'm human as well. So just want to say, if I can do it, you can do it, basically. And, the 4 is my number I always grew up with. So that's basically what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of sharing your story, what's it like? Because I've seen you in other interviews too on other podcasts, and that's how I was listening to one of your recent podcasts. That's how I found your page. But what's it like now sharing your stories on these kind of platforms and trying to get your thing out there with the V Flyer, B Flyer, and what's it like just to share your inspiring story?
It's good. I've always been a private person, but people, people say that you need to, expand yourself more. So I think for me, just doing that, is going to inspire others. And even some of the little quotes and things I posted on my stories, it's crazy. It's amazing how much feedback I get when it's like, I needed to hear this. I need to hear that. So just being able to do that publicly and, talk about much more about myself and, open up and my brand, is amazing.
And it's amazing that you've traveled across the country, that you've traveled to France, to France, to Israel. So you've inspired so many of the youth just being there, and now you have a brand to represent it further, which is amazing. Tell us, what's one of the greatest things that you get back from inspiring the youth and being like a hero to those kids that are watching you play?
Seeing change, seeing growth. I think, those are the 2 things, like I said, we all grew up in different things. So being able to hear that, hey, bro, you inspired me. I did this because, I saw this or whatever. That makes me feel good. So it makes me want to keep going. And I might not inspire, it might be 20 people in the room. I might not inspire all 20, but if I inspire 1 or 2, that's good enough for me. So that's a start. And I just want to keep building on that. So those little things make me feel good and just want to keep helping out more and reaching out to more who wants to, change and, grow.
Exactly. That's great.
All right, now I want to ask you about the Bucks winning the championship because this is so funny because Charlie Westbrook used to wear jersey number 6 and Brandon Jennings said Bucks in 6, and it happened with both of them. So what was your reaction when they won in 6? And did you reach out to them after they won the championship?
No, I haven't reached out to them. I was honestly thinking if I had, I think I have Chris. He probably changed his number. That was 5 or 6 years ago. But I could reach out through Instagram. But for the Bucks in 6, yeah, that was crazy. It's funny seeing Brandon Jennings right now celebrating the Bucks in 6, like he actually won a championship. But Charlie Westbrook, I know Charlie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good. Like I said, it's good for them to win a championship. I'm happy for the city and the organization.
And to win going through injuries and just keep that fortitude. What's it like to play through and with an injury? What is that like?
It was tough. It was mental. They were saying Giannis did a great job. He rehabbed every day. So it's about your drive and how bad you want it. People thought he was going to be out longer. So for you being hurt and something, you never know. I mean, it's also eating habits too. How you take care of your body. The body can recover faster. So. I think the coaches, the medical staff did a good job with Giannis. He took care of his body and he found a way to come back and help his team.
How important is sleep?
Oh, those little things, you realize the 9 hours compared to the 6 or 7 hours is a huge difference. The eating habits, the things like that, it's a huge difference, And it was something I was reading with Andre Iguodala, like those percentages, it changes. So it's definitely important to get your sleep and get prepared for the next day.
Yeah, that's important. I think there's so many people in the world that don't understand that sleep aids in recovery, like before the trauma, to just keep yourself like top on your on top of it and get that rest. So I look for to the professionals, and I always ask that because it's compromised often in life by people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now we do this fun little segment on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right.
Here we go.
This one I always start off with. We're on officially on Kawhi Leonard's for free agency watch 2021 free agency watch. So Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi's.
Okay.
Favorite movie?
Bad Boys 2.
Nice.
Favorite. What was your most memorable game that you played overseas in the NBA?
Last game against Kobe, and winning the championship in Israel.
Nice.
That is nice. What's something that Kobe inspired? How did he inspire you personally?
Just a Mamba mentality, just hearing the stories about him and, how he, affected so many people's lives.
Yeah.
So speaking of Kobe, what was it like competing against him, and you did get the chance of guarding him?
Yeah. So, so it's crazy. My first NBA game was against the Lakers.
Oh, wow.
And my last NBA game was against the Lakers.
And didn't you win your first NBA game? Didn't you beat the Lakers? That's amazing.
Yeah, we beat them at home. I was from Memphis. So that was a good experience. My first NBA bucket was on Paul Gasol, and my last NBA bucket was on Kobe Bryant. So those good. I mean, it was a good experience. It's Kobe. Like you really, it's crazy. It's crazy. One of the things I always cherished was Kobe didn't score on me in his last game. I was the only person that he didn't score on, and then I was the last person to score on Kobe. So those are something I would cherish forever too.
That's beautiful.
Kia, you go now.
Oh, so if you could go anywhere on vacation right now, where would you go?
Dubai.
Nice.
I'll go to Dubai.
All right, funniest moment and funniest prank you've been a part of.
Funniest prank. In high school, there was a guy who was trying to sit down at the lunch table, and I pulled the chair. I pulled the chair from under him, and he fell on his back, and he was embarrassed. Wow. So that was funny.
What's funniest team? How about funniest teammate?
Ooh, that's a good one. Funniest teammate. Oh no, maybe I can't think of that. I can't think of that one too fast. I'm trying to think. It's a few of them.
It's got to be Giannis, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking of Giannis. Yeah, I was thinking of Giannis. Probably I'll go with Giannis. Yeah.
I love the camaraderie.
Because
he is crazy.
Speaking of Giannis, I don't know if you saw that video on that Twitter thing when he ordered a 50-piece McNugget and he scored 50 points in order. What was your reaction to that?
That's funny.
Just Giannis being Giannis, just laughing. Just I don't know where he come up with these things from. Like him, like he just like come up on the spot. It's just really funny. So just Giannis being Giannis and enjoying that, and that's another thing. He's just always happy. So he's a good guy, man.
Yeah,
he really is.
That's awesome. How about your favorite music or favorite hype music for training?
I like Yo Gotti. That's my favorite artist. So he kind of hyped me up.
Yeah.
All right, so you won a championship in Israel. So take me to the celebrations. How crazy it is overseas when they come to celebrating.
Oh man! First of all, Israel is the craziest experience ever. Like, I mean, I only been to 2 countries to play, but by far Israel is the craziest fans. We won the championship, and I mean, mind you, during our games, the fans are fighting each other. For us region, I don't know why, but they'd be fighting each other, things like that. So those fans are crazy. They have pulled a little bit, depending on which organization, but they can get you, fired from the job and things like that. But they're crazy.
Wow.
But I love it though.
So since you were missing your food when you were away from home overseas, what's your favorite food?
Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, hibachi. Oh man, everything. I was missing everything. It feels like heaven when she comes back. It feels like heaven. It don't feel real.
That's fantastic.
So I want to get to so I told you I'm a Knicks fan, and I want to get to a former Dayton player, Obi Toppin, who's with the Knicks. What are your thoughts on him as a player?
I love him. I like him. I don't think I've met him. I haven't met him yet, but I like to get back down to Dayton in the summertime to meet him. But I think he has potential. You know, Coach Thibodeau, he's a old school coach, so he didn't get much playing time. But the time he did, he contributed. But I think he got good potential. This season is going to be a big year for him. So just looking forward to see what he can do, and I know he's young. He's going to keep working hard, keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of your ways to find personal peace?
Watching movies, reading, kind of meditating, just those little things like that. Just finding my peace and kind of having a day to myself, just to relax and kind of dawn down and think about the things I need to do for next day or whatever.
Yep.
So I want to ask
hiking as well. Sorry, hiking.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about two players actually, Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard. Tell me if they're going to stay or go. Do you think Chris Paul leaves the Lakers? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, not. Do you think Chris Paul leaves the Suns? Sorry, I meant the Suns.
I think he'll leave. He'll leave. Kawhi. I don't know about Kawhi. I think Kawhi will stay.
Oh, how about Damian Lillard? Sorry, Damian Lillard.
Ooh. I think I don't know. I think Damian's loyal, so I think he'll stay.
Oh, wow.
But,
I feel like he'd stay too. Who was your favorite athlete growing up?
Trace McGrady, Reggie Miller.
Very cool.
All right, so everybody's talking about this banana boat reunion in LA. Do you think it happens with Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron? But the only player missing from that is Dwayne Wade because he's retired now. But do you see the two of them joining LeBron?
Anything is possible with that situation. I think they always talk about playing together before their career is over. So if not now, I mean, yeah, for sure. They could get into the end of their career, so why not?
Nice. And what's one of your most memorable experiences in basketball, just generally?
Most memorable, being in the NBA, being around those players, learning so much from them, gaining so much knowledge.
That's awesome.
Well, which young player do you like to watch now in the league?
I like Luka, like John Morant. I like Alexander. What's his Shane Gillis? Alexander.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him. Like Zion. Just those Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, those guys.
Yeah. Do you have any goals for coaching at all?
I would like to be a coach. I just, like I said, for me, I don't know how far it's going to take. Right now, I just want to, kind of be like a player development or, some type of hands-on. But I like to coach. People say I should be a coach. So, like I said, it's in God's hands. See where that goes. But I have reached out to a few people, let them know I'm interested in coaching. So we'll see where that goes.
Now you'll make a great head coach, by the way, Chris. You know the game a lot, plus you're a player, and you'll bring the X and O's to the game. And I think you'll be a great wherever you land. You'll be a great assistant coach or even head coach too, if you get the opportunity. But I want to ask before we get to the last few things. I want to ask you about Jamal Crawford because this guy can score the heck out of the ball. He's playing in some league. I don't know which league is that, but he scored 50 back-to-back games. What do you think about him? Do you think he can still play in the league?
First off, Jamal is one of the coolest guys I ever met in the NBA. Yeah. He's really down to earth, cool guy, and I mean, he can definitely play out where he play at a high level. I mean, he can definitely play in the NBA though. Probably give a team 10 to 15 minutes, and also be that vet. Guys look up to him. So just being that presence and being in the locker room, kind of will help guys out too. So yeah, I definitely think he can play.
Nice.
So the last two things here before we let you go, our team is part of this foundation It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help and prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe. So I'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
And before we get to the last thing, where can people find your V-Flyer thing?
So you can find me on it's called at Instagram at WeFlyer4, or my website is www.wfbf4.com, and you can get your gear there. But right now we don't have anything in stock right now, so I'll keep you guys updated.
All right, we'll definitely
absolutely happy to share that.
Yeah, we'll definitely share it too. So the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
You guys are amazing. You know, the hours and the time doesn't go unnoticed to what you guys do. So just keep working hard, and just keep, thank you for everything.
So there it is. That wraps up episode 858 with NBA player, overseas player, Chris Johnson, part of V-Flyer. Go check him out on all social media formats. He does a great job. I'm hoping you get another opportunity in the NBA or wherever. So keep up the great work, man. This has been an honor. We learned a lot today from this, and you and your family stay safe. We would like to have you back as a returning guest so you can meet the full team at some point. But like I said, hope you get another opportunity in the NBA. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you.